If today, right now, you were dropped in the middle of nowhere, no money, no job title, no degree, no fancy car, no parents to call, no credit card to swipe, just you, your brain and your habits, how long could you survive? Think about it. Would you thrive, or would you barely scrape by? Would you build something new, or would you be forced to beg? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people wouldn't survive financially outside of the system they're trapped in. Do you know why? Because what keeps them broke isn't lack of opportunity. It's the habits they refuse to kill. And I get it. You've probably read the books, listened to the podcasts, binge-watched hours of YouTube advice. You already know the steps. But here's my question. If knowledge alone was enough, why are so many people drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and secretly panicking when rent or mortgage day rolls around? You don't have a knowledge problem. You have an action problem. So today, I'm not here to spoon-feed more feel-good motivation. I'm here to take you through the 8 deadly habits I had to break in order to go from broke, scared, and stuck to building wealth, freedom, and a life I could control. If you're serious about surviving and thriving in the financial jungle, listen carefully. Because wealth isn't about luck, timing, or the right connections. It's about habits. What you choose to stop doing matters more than what you start. Let's slow down here. Imagine looking back 10 years from now and realizing it wasn't the big risks or the big failures that held you back. It was the little habits you ignored every single day. That's the trap most people fall into. As Robert Kiyosaki puts it, wealth isn't lost in a storm. It leaks slowly, drop by drop, while you're too distracted to notice. So don't let this be another truth that slips past you. Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Not for me, but for you. Because the next principle we break down here might be the very one that saves you from years of financial struggle and puts you on the path to freedom. Let's begin with the first bad habit that nearly cost me everything. Habit 1. Impatience, the silent killer of wealth. When I was younger, I had zero patience. If money didn't come fast, I thought I was failing. I wanted overnight success, like many of you probably do. Get rich quick, win the lottery, invest in one magical stock and retire next week. But here's the problem. Impatience makes you vulnerable. It makes you chase scams, fall for too good to be true, schemes, and jump out of investments before they've had time to grow. I'll give you an example. Years ago, I put money into an investment. After a few months, it wasn't blowing up, so I pulled it out. If I had left it there, it would have doubled, tripled, maybe even more. But impatience robbed me. Wealth is like planting a tree. You don't scream at the seed on day 2 and say, "Why aren't you giving me shade yet?" But that's exactly what most people do with money. They forget that compounding takes time, and the people who win are the ones willing to wait. The truth. Wealth is a marathon. You can sprint for a while, but if you try to sprint the whole thing, you'll collapse. So here's a survival test for you. If I told you today to put $500 into an investment you couldn't touch for 10 years, would you panic? Would you feel like that money was gone forever? If so, impatience is eating your wealth alive. Habit 2. Chasing stuff for happiness. Here's another trap I fell into. I thought happiness could be bought. New shoes, new phone, new car. I kept chasing the emotional high of buying something. But let me tell you, stuff doesn't buy freedom. It buys debt, stress, and the illusion of status. I once bought a shiny watch I couldn't afford just to feel successful. Guess what? After the excitement faded, all I felt was broke, and worse, trapped. See, advertisers are masters of manipulation. They whisper in your ear, that new car will make you respected, that outfit will make you confident, that gadget will make you happy. But what they're really doing is making you poorer. Happiness from stuff is like eating candy for dinner, sweet for a moment, but it leaves you sick and empty. Real freedom comes not from buying more, but from needing less. Here's the survival test. Strip away your car, your wardrobe, your gadgets. Would you still feel valuable, or have you confused self-worth with net worth-looking things? The less I needed, the richer I felt, and that's a lesson most people never learn. Habit 3. Low-paying skills equals low-paying life. Now this one stung me the hardest. For years I wondered why my bank account never grew, no matter how hard I worked. The answer was, my skills were cheap. Let me explain. If your skills don't solve big problems, the marketplace won't pay you big money. Period. Think about it. A heart surgeon can save your life, so they make 6 figures. A teacher, no matter how noble, earns far less. The difference isn't in hard work. It's in the value of the skill. For a long time, my skills were average, replaceable. Anyone could do what I did, and if anyone can do what you do, the market will never pay you more. So I had to upgrade. I had to stop saying, I deserve more money, and start asking, what skills do I need to become more valuable? If you're making $20,000 a year, chances are you've got $20,000 a year skills. Want $200,000? You need $200,000 a year skills. It's not unfair, it's reality. So here's your survival test. If your job disappeared tomorrow, what skill could you sell within 24 hours to feed yourself? If your answer is nothing, then your problem isn't your boss, it's your lack of marketable skills. Habit 4. Living in fear. This one kept me broke for years. Fear of failure, fear of risk, fear of change, fear of looking stupid. I'd see opportunities all around me, but instead of grabbing them, I'd freeze. I'd think, what if I lose money? What if I fail? What if people laugh? And while I was busy being scared, the opportunities walked right past me. Let's be real. Fear isn't going anywhere. Even wealthy people feel it. The difference is, they act anyway. Think about an athlete before a big game. Their heart pounds, hands sweat, stomach flips, but they play anyway. That's courage. For years I let fear keep me stuck in a safe, low-paying job. I was terrified of stepping into the unknown. But one day, I realized the scariest thing wasn't failing. The scariest thing was staying the same. Here's the survival test. If fear disappeared from your life for just 24 hours, what decision would you make today? What opportunity would you grab? That answer is usually the thing you're supposed to do. Wealth doesn't belong to the fearless. It belongs to the people who take action despite the fear. Now pause with me for a second and be real with yourself. How many years of your life have been spent just following directions, doing what others told you, instead of creating your own path? That's not living, that's existing. If this hit you, if it stirred something inside, don't just sit on it. Smash that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below sharing one area of your life where you know it's time to start thinking for yourself. Because the moment you declare it, that's the moment change begins. Habit 5. Stop letting others do your thinking. Most of us were trained to be obedient, not independent. In school, we're taught what to think, not how to think. We're rewarded for coloring inside the lines, raising our hands politely, and memorizing the right answers on the test. But nobody stops to ask, can you create your own answers? For years, I was guilty of this. I waited for someone else to tell me what to do. I followed directions, but I never stopped to create my own solutions. And let me tell you something. Wealthy people don't wait for instructions. They invent them. Think about it. The richest people in the world weren't the best test takers in school. They were the ones who solved problems nobody else thought to solve. Here's a survival test. If your boss disappeared tomorrow, could you create income for yourself? Or would you sit frozen, waiting for someone to hand you a paycheck again? See, the poor and middle class are trained to wait for permission. The wealthy train themselves to create opportunities. So I had to stop asking, what should I do? And start asking, what can I build? What can I produce? What problem can I solve that people will pay me for? And when people told me, man, you think too much, I realized they weren't wrong. I was thinking more than them. But the truth is, most people don't think enough. Wealth isn't about working harder. It's about thinking differently. Habit 6. poor financial discipline. Now this one hits close to home for a lot of people. Back then I could make $75,000 a year and somehow still end the year broke. How is that possible? Simple, no discipline. Money came in and money leaked right back out. I was a human ATM machine. My paycheck would land, and 2 weeks later, I was broke again. Sound familiar, right? I call this the hamster wheel lifestyle. You run, you sweat, you get tired, but you never actually move forward. You just keep spinning in circles. Here's the survival test. If I gave you $10,000 right now, would you multiply it, or would it disappear in 90 days? Most people say, "Oh, I'd invest it." But if you can't manage $1,000, you can't manage $10,000. And if you can't manage $10,000, you'll never manage $100,000. Wealth doesn't come from income. It comes from discipline. The discipline to budget, to delay gratification, to tell your money where to go, instead of wondering where it went. I had to become obsessive about managing my money, tracking it, planning it, directing it, because without discipline, money slips through your fingers faster than water. Habit 7. Inconsistency. The dream killer. This one may be the most underrated wealth destroyer. Inconsistency. Everybody wants to be rich, but very few are willing to do the boring stuff over and over and over again. Wealth isn't built on hype. It's built on habits. Save, invest, learn, save, invest, learn, over and over, like brushing your teeth, like going to the gym, like showing up for practice. But most people, they get impatient. They try something for 3 months. It doesn't explode, so they quit. They jump to the next shiny thing, then the next, and guess what? They stay broke, because they never stick with anything long enough to see it grow. Every great athlete, every great artist, every wealthy person, you know what they all have in common: consistency. They kept doing the same boring thing when everyone else got distracted. Here's your survival test. Look at your last 12 months. Did you stick to a plan, or did you start and quit 5 different things? If you're inconsistent, it's not bad luck holding you back, it's you. Wealth isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. And to wrap it up, habit 8, toxic environments. This one might be the hardest to face. Your environment. Here's the reality. Your circle shapes your ceiling. If you spend your days with people who complain, make excuses, or laugh at your dreams, guess what? You'll become the same. For years I hung around people who normalized bad money habits. They'd say things like, "Man, we deserve this. Let's blow the paycheck." Or "Debt's just a part of life." Or investing, "Nah, that's too risky." And because I wanted to belong, I went along. But then I realized, if you hang around 9 broke friends, you'll probably be the 10th. If you hang around 9 wealthy, disciplined, ambitious people, you'll probably be the 10th too. Here's the survival test. Look at your 5 closest friends. Do they pull you up or drag you down? Do they cheer when you grow or get jealous? When I started building wealth, I had to let some people go. Friends, relatives, people I loved. And it wasn't because I thought I was better than them. It was because I realized staying with them meant staying stuck. And here's the kicker. When you change, some people will fall off naturally. They'll stop calling. They'll say you changed. And they're right, you did. Because you can't reach new levels with old company. At the end of the day, wealth is just like losing weight. You already know what to do. Eat less junk, move more, stay consistent. But knowing isn't enough. You've got to do it. Same with money. You already know the basics. Save, invest, avoid debt, build skills, take risks, manage money, stay consistent, choose the right circle. But if you don't act, you'll stay stuck. Some people are addicted to collecting information. They'll watch financial videos all day, nod their heads, maybe even take notes. But when it's time to act, they freeze. So here's the challenge. Stop being an information addict and become an action addict. Because wealth doesn't come to those who know the most. It comes to those who do the most with what they know. Let's pause and look at the truth you just faced. 8 habits were holding you back. Impatience, chasing things instead of freedom, low-value skills, fear, not thinking for yourself, poor money discipline, inconsistency, and a toxic environment. Every single one of them was quietly stealing your potential, silently keeping you broke while you thought you were just living life. Ask yourself how many years have slipped by while you let fear, impatience, and bad habits dictate your future. How many opportunities have you ignored because they didn't feel safe or convenient? Here's the hard truth. Nobody is coming to save you. Your wealth, your freedom, your peace of mind, they all start with the choices you make today. So here's your challenge. Don't just scroll past this. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Not for me, but for the version of yourself that's waiting to break free. And more than that, I want you to drop a comment below. Tell me which one of these 8 habits you're finally ready to kill. Which one you're finally done letting control you. Because the moment you name it, the moment you commit, is the moment your future self finally starts winning. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you.